everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to Life as a Military Wife and an Aspiring Psychologist. I am a military wife and I am an aspiring psychologist. So if you're coming across this space for the first time and you're coming across the channel for the first time and you're asking yourself, what is this about? Well, on this channel I reflect on my journey as a military wife and an aspiring psychologist, and I take you guys through everything that I went through, that I'm going through, and what inspires me and what keeps me going. So if that's something that resonates with you, I would advise you to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a video. And to my returning subscribers, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me once again, and I hope you guys did enjoy the previous video of me reflecting on my journey, on my applications for masters. I sat down and I reflected on that whole journey. So I do hope that you watched it, and if you did, you enjoyed it. On today's video, I'm going to talk about how we got here and where we're coming from in terms of how my university journey has been, and me having dropped out twice from university and now being a prospective master's student. Let's get right into this video. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is my dropping out journey and what led to this moment right here where this video is being made, right? And I want to center that around the feelings and the emotions and the knowledge and the things that informed the decisions to drop out of school. And in that, I want to try and just inspire someone who is probably maybe considering it, or maybe they are stuck with their education, maybe they have dropped out, they are a dropout. I want to talk to people like that. If you know someone like that, please do show them this video. It might just inspire them to continue fighting for themselves, to continue fighting for their lives, to continue fighting for their dreams, because that's exactly what I did. So in the beginning, and also before I continue, the reason why I'm doing this video again, I've done it before where I spoke about my dropping out experience. However, I feel like there is a lot to discuss around that action itself, or that part, that period and season of my life. There is so much to talk about, and as I grow up and I progress in life, I also begin to develop new narratives, to also even understand myself better as to what was going on that led me to making the decisions that I made. So there is so much to talk about, and that is why even when I do talk about the dropping out, I do have to decide which part I want to talk about, and that is why today's video is centered around the feelings and the knowledge and the beliefs that inform that decision. So this video is very different. It's probably going to be very different from the one that I've made before, and it's not even to put attention on me dropping out, but it's to explain what made me do what I did, and also to inspire in terms of not giving up on oneself, because I believe strongly in that, because I am where I am because I refuse to give up on myself. So let's continue. So it was in 2013 when I passed my matric. I did very well. I had done very well. I was in the commercial stream, so I did business studies, accounting and economics in a rural high school at home, right? Very rural. I take pride in my ruralness. That's why I would always talk about it. Also, to give you guys an idea of where I was mentally, maybe that will actually shed light as to where I was mentally, because rural life, you know. So it was in 2013 when I completed my matric, and then I passed very well. I don't have a level 5 going down in my matric, not to boast, but to just show you how good I had performed. So I only have level 7s and level 6s in my matric certificate, right? So however, I remember not even applying for university while I was doing my matric, and that was because the focus was just to pass the matric. I couldn't even aspire, like I didn't even know what I wanted to apply for. So that was the least of my worries. And the fact that there were no finances to actually fund the applications, I didn't look at applying. I didn't really look at applying. And this is another reason, this is something else that I would want to talk about maybe on a separate video, but it was my teacher who realized that I was not applying, and I think he got concerned. He became concerned as to, you are doing so well throughout the year, why are you not applying to university? And I told him I don't have money, and I don't remember if I mentioned whether I don't know what to study or not, but that was also another factor as to why I was not applying to study to get into university, right? So he was like, no, it's fine. I'm going to take you to the University of Venda because I'm going there with my wife, because the University of Venda has a bookshop. So I don't know if they just, the book that they needed, that the wife needed, was at the university or not. I'm not sure, but he said, I'm going to the University of Venda, I'm going to take you there, and then you're going to apply. And I said, okay, cool. And then he said to me, I think he realized that I didn't know what to study, right? And then he said to me, you can apply for education, apply to become a teacher, because you can see your situation. And it made sense. It made so much sense. And the fact that this was coming from a place of love and a place of concern, I believe that that's exactly what I should do. So we went to the University of Venda and I applied for teaching, and I think I chose to major in economics and accounting and economics, yes, because I was doing accounting in high school. And then no, it was not accounting. I think it was economics and business studies, yes, when I did that application. And I think my second choice was something like that. But what I do remember is that I was accepted into teaching, and I was doing economics and business studies at the University of Venda first year, right? And then that was the only university I applied to. That was the only university I got accepted into because of circumstances that I've just explained to you guys. So I went to university, and not so long into the year, I realized that I don't want to be a teacher. Like, I think with university comes a sense of personal insight. You begin to discover yourself more. I think the environment itself, the fact that you're living alone, you're now entering your independence. You start to realize, to learn the things that you like and the things that you don't like. Well, that is what it was like for me. So I realized that I don't want to be a teacher. Also, I think at that time my self-esteem was very low, so I felt like I don't have it in me to stand in front of children and teach. And this teaching degree was for high school, and I just couldn't imagine myself in front of teenagers having to teach them business studies and economics. So two factors were contributing. I did realize that I don't like teaching, but I also, my self-esteem was like, you can't do this. It was so low to that extent, and that's when I decided I'm going to change teaching, and I'm going to try and become accounting, because I had studied accounting in high school, and I had performed so well. So I thought by virtue of that, automatically I'm supposed to be an accountant, right? And that also comes with the lack of knowledge of what else is out there, So the closest thing I could have done was accounting, because I had done accounting, And when I tried to change from education into accounting the following year, I realized that for become accounting, you see, even this is emphasizing the lack of knowledge. I realized that with become accounting, you needed to have done maths. I had changed into maths literacy in grade 11, so I completed my matric with maths literacy, not with maths. I had done very well, but it was maths literacy at the end of the day. So they told me that for become accounting, you need maths. The best thing we can give you is become economics. So I was like, okay, cool. You can give me become economics, because at the end of the day, it's teaching that I don't want, and I don't know anything else except for accounting. As long as I can get to do accounting, I'm fine. And economics was the closest thing that I could do. What I didn't know was that economics had statistics, and I had never been exposed to statistics, so there was no way of knowing whether I would do well or not. I had confidence in my abilities, if I can put it like that. I had confidence in my academic abilities. I did believe that I would do very well, even if it's become economics, as long as it's taking me to something that I'm familiar with, I should be fine. So I took BCom economics, and this was now the year 2015, because I started university in 2014. Then 2015 I changed into BCom economics, and then mind you, there is another life that is happening side by side with school, right? Which is something I will also talk about when we do talk about becoming a military wife. I will talk about that, but right now this video is focused on school and academics. So all those factors, and now economics, I'm doing economics, I'm doing statistics, and I'm struggling a lot with stats. I am struggling a lot. Economics, I'm doing well because I'm familiar with it. English, you know, you must do English, you must do the other modules. I was doing so well. Statistics, I was not doing so well. So now that knowledge of, I am no longer going to become a chartered accountant. I can only become an economist. And economics was not initially my first love. My first love is accounting. And with this degree that I'm doing, I am only going to become an economist, right? That is what I thought at that time. This was my state of mind. This was my headspace at that time as a 20-year-old, right? And having been exposed to what I was exposed to at that time, that's what I thought, that's what I knew. So I thought to myself, I'm struggling. And knowing that I am eventually going to become an economist, which is something that I not really didn't want, but it's not what I had wanted, I became very frustrated. Statistics frustrated me so much. It was the first time I was actually failing my whole life, my whole academic journey until that point, up to that point. That was the first time I actually, a script came back and I couldn't relate to the mark. I felt like that mark was not mine. It was so horrible. It hit me so hard, like emotionally, I couldn't understand it. And this makes me understand why some people, like certain people, struggle with university, because we perform so well in primary school and in high school, and that becomes your identity, that when academics are your thing, and then when you get into university, it's a different story. So statistics did that for me, and did that to me. And I realized that I don't want this. So because I was failing, I interpreted that as something that I'm not supposed to be doing, because what I do, I pass. What I want to do, I pass. But what I don't want to do, I'm failing, and here it is. And yes, I think there was a sense of a lack of interest because I knew I didn't get what I wanted, right? So there was a sense of that. Maybe I don't know, but I just know that I struggled with statistics so much, and that just pushed me to the brink, and I eventually dropped out. I remember I didn't even write my first semester exams. I just didn't go altogether. I was just like, you know what, I'm not doing this. This is too much for me. I'm not used to failing, and I don't even know what I'm doing, and I don't want to become an economist. So I'm going to let this go. So that was me dropping out for the first time, right? And then in that dropping out, I dropped out in 2015, right? And then I stayed the whole year of 2015 trying to figure out what to do, thinking about my life and resting, and also just trying to figure things out, right? And then eventually in 2016, I applied for university, right? Because remember not even remember, but I think there were applications that were still open when I dropped out in June 2015, but I was not looking at even like immediately starting to apply, because remember at that point I didn't still know what I wanted to study. I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So that whole period was just very confusing for me. It was so confusing, like that, with personal issues that were happening around me. It was a lot emotionally, and I think that is why I literally hit rock bottom in terms of what I wanted for myself. And that's when I retreated. I was like, this is too much for me. So I went and I sat down. So when the year 2016 started, that's when I realized that I want to go to school. Like, I really want to go to school, but I still don't know what to do, you know? So I'm faced with two problems, that I know that with my matric, I can always apply to universities, but still I don't know what to do. So I sit down and I do some soul searching, and I'm like, what am I good at? Like, I didn't even know really what questions to ask myself to kind of like guide the decision as to what I'm supposed to be studying, right? But I just remember feeling like I struggle so much with my self-esteem. I struggle so much with confidence because of the things that had happened, whatever. But at that point, I didn't know that this is what caused it. But I did realize that I am my confidence is lacking. Like, I'm not a very confident person, and I had also come to this knowledge because of the people that I had been exposed to. I have watched people being so confident, and I always felt it within myself that I want to be like that. I want to be like that. Like, a part of me kind of like always knew that that is what I want, and maybe I do have it in me. And I think that's actually when the YouTube channel was born. I don't quite remember, but I think that's when this YouTube channel was born, right? So I remember just thinking I don't have confidence, and maybe whatever that I need to study should kind of like assist me with that. And that's when I applied for law, because in my head it looked like lawyers have confidence, you know, like it looked like lawyers possess the most confidence that I needed. Like I was just mesmerized by how they carry themselves. The fact that they can stand in court and literally plead a case in front of a judge. That is the how I rationalized confidence and how I rationalized the decision to study law. So I applied for law, and I don't remember what happened, but I didn't get into a LLB. I got into a BA in law at the University of Johannesburg. So 2017. I left, and I went to school 2017. And then remember, on the side of this, there is a personal life that's happening. This is my academic life that I'm trying to figure out, but there is life on the side that is also happening. So the factors in my personal life again do affect my academic decisions at the same time. So there's like two lives that I'm trying to balance, that I'm trying to find balance on as well, so that I can feel like I'm being my best self, I'm being okay, I'm being whatever, I'm doing what I need to do, right? So I do leave to UJ. I go and study my BA law. I go and I stay there. Whew. UJ was a lot. UJ was literally just emotionally heavy for me, because firstly it was safety. Get me right? Get me right. Academically, I never really struggle much except for with statistics. Statistics, I struggled a lot. That is a given. That's a fact. But academically, I've never really struggled much, right? So I was fine with academics. However, staying in studying at UJ and where I was staying, so I didn't get campus accommodation. I was staying off camp. So now I'm being told how unsafe it is. I'm being told how unsafe it is, and I actually do experience how unsafe it is, because I got mugged. But I don't think I got mugged. It was an attempted mugging, because they couldn't get the bag. The help came quicker, and also somehow my hand had locked, and then they couldn't get the bag out. So I think it was attempted because it didn't happen. But I got pointed with a gun. I fought with the two guys, and I'm trying to show you now my headspace for leading up to the decision to actually drop out. So I got mugged, and then from there it became very difficult to go to school, because I realized how unsafe I was, and I was pregnant, and that whole situation really just hit me also physically, because there was a physical altercation, right? And it's not like I was fighting. Listen, even if I was to get mugged today, I don't think I would fight. I think adrenaline and panic just happened, and then there was a struggle for the bag, because the bag just couldn't be free, you know. So that altercation was totally unplanned. It was a coincidence, I don't know, but thank God my bag was saved. However, from that day onwards, it became very difficult for me to go to school. It was such an anxiety provoking activity to just leave the house and go to school and come back. That walk from, I don't know, but the people who studied at UJ will know that there's Hurst Hill by the Helen Joseph Hospital, so I stayed that side. And then I had to walk to the campus, Auckland Park, right? So that walk was just so emotionally draining for me. I remember if I would get out of the gate and there was no one on the road, I would rather stay home than go to school, because I didn't want to experience that. Né? So that was one experience with UJ. I continued going to school. I did that. I did what needed to be done. I would stay at home some days I would go, I would manage, like find someone on the road. And it was not helping, because when I tell everyone, like everyone I would meet, and I would tell them, can I walk with you? Then I would explain to them what had happened, and they would say, you know what, you were better because that happened to you. It was so much better because some people get hurt, cars get stolen, and sometimes we'll even hear gunshots. I remember this one incident, we actually even ran outside to see what had happened, and this person was shot because they wanted his phone. Like, it was so bad. Like, crime in that area was just so bad, and they targeted students because they knew that our bags had things that they would probably sell and get money from, right? So that was happening. Continued going to school, very difficult. Then my brother passed away. So I had a baby, then my brother passed away, and my brother passed away in under circumstances that were also very tragic. Maybe I will also make a story about that. I don't know, just to remember his memory. I'm not sure, but he passed away. So now I'm experiencing childbirth and leaving my child at home. Then I'm experiencing that difficulty with going to school, and then I lose my brother. And I remember just one day coming back from the funeral, and we were supposed to write a test. It was March. We were supposed to write our term test, and I remember just not coping. Like, I was not coping. I even went to the lecturer and I told her, I said, I'm not coping, like I can't. And she said, I can give you a pass for today, like you cannot write today, it's fine. And I remember very well, she said, but you need to get yourself together. You need to get yourself together. And I just remember not being able to get myself together. I was not coping. It really was a lot. It really was a lot. That whole period was a lot. And I'm telling you this not to say that dropping out of school is good, but I'm telling you this so that you guys understand the decisions, the factors that led to the decision to actually drop out of school, so that it makes sense, right? It makes sense. So many conclusions can be made out of this. However, this is the one that I choose to stick with. I was going through a lot emotionally. I was not coping academically, and I could see that I was gonna fail, right? So the reason, the closest thing that felt doable was to actually also retreat again and go back home. Literally, I was struggling. I don't even know. Like, when that period was happening, I didn't see how it was gonna pass. I didn't see how things were gonna get better. That's how bad it was, you know. So we buried my brother. That happened. Baby at home. My anxiety levels being so high because of the crime, and always having to look over my shoulder, having to run sometimes. It was bad. And then I dropped out. I was like, I can't, and I would fail. I think also there is an aspect of also being scared of failure, because it's something that I was not used to. And then I realized that because I'm not coping, I'm going to fail. I really was struggling to put myself together. I really was. So I dropped out and I went back home. This was still in the year 2017, after I had started. I went back home. So with UJ, I didn't even stay for a year, right? Went back home, and then that's when I retreated again for the second time. And then I went back home. And I also need you guys to understand that even the decision to go back home is not easy. Like, it's not easy to drop out. I know it sounds like the easiest decision to make, to just leave everything and go. But that dropping out on its own, realizing that this is your dream, like this is your dream, going, like you are letting go of something that could have ended up being so beautiful, that is so hard. And I forgot to tell you, there was another fourth reason for UJ. And UJ, for when you're doing law, I don't know about the LLB ones, but I should assume that they also do it. There is pretend court, right, which is moot court. You do moot court, I think, from first year throughout, because I mean, you have to practice that practical, you have to have that skill, right? I remember struggling so much with the thought of me going to stand there by the lawyers, by the court, and having to plead a case. I remember struggling so much and thinking, I can't do that. I can't. Like, my confidence levels were so low that I would feel so much anxiety just thinking about it. I would feel like I couldn't speak like this. Like, I felt like I can't. Like, there is no way. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do there. So that is another reason that played into me actually making the decision to say, you know what, UJ, thank you so much, but I can't do this, you know? I can't do this. So I went back home. I remember I cried so much the day that I left. And I was like, again, I'm doing this again. Like, we have to go through this again. Like, I don't want you guys to underestimate the emotional toll that it will take one to actually drop out of school. Like, it is so hard. And for me, having to do it again, like for the second time, that was horrible. It was such a horrible experience, right? But I did go home, and I spent the year 2017. I finished the year 2017 at home, raising my kids, whatever was happening. And then 2018 as well, I tried looking for a job. I think I did get a job, but yeah, something else happened, and then I found myself home again. And then that's when now at home I decided to enroll with UNISA. So this is when now psychology comes in, right? How I found psychology is that I felt like I needed to understand myself. I felt like I didn't know who I was, and that is why I kept making the decisions that I made, right? I felt like I have no sense of what is supposed to happen with me. I felt like I'm so confused. Like, who is this person? Like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to study? What is supposed to happen with me actually? What am I meant to be? You know, that question when now you want to find your purpose and you want to understand why you were born? I went through that in 2018, and that's when I started now. That's when I found psychology, because psychology is the study of human behavior and the human mind, right? And I was like, okay, this is good. Let me actually enroll in this and see if I can understand myself better. So psychology for me didn't come in as like I grew up knowing I wanted to be a psychologist. No, but it was a way for me to try and understand myself. And in that, then now that's why we find ourselves here. Now I am a prospective master's in clinical psychology candidate. Fingers crossed, God will do what He has to do. God, His will, knows His will for my life, and I always pray that may His will be in alignment with the things that I want, right? So we are here now, and that is because I have always had the zeal in me to become better. I have always had it in me to not continue my life the way that I was brought up. I've always had it in me that I can do well academically. So that is not something I should give up on, right? So that's why we find ourselves here today, where I am sharing my journey into where I'm an aspiring psychologist. It didn't just start here. And it didn't start with me always knowing what I wanted to do, but it's something that I found along the way, and I felt so much in love with it. And yeah, and I'm hoping to become such a great psychologist because of my experiences, because I feel like my experiences have made me aware that there are things that we do not because we are negligent or ignorant, but there are things that we do because we just don't know better. We just don't know any better. And I've also learned that our environment plays a huge role in the things that how we see the world and how we see ourselves and how we actually interact with the world and how we interact with ourselves. So I've learned not to be very hard on people. I've learned not to judge, because I feel like someone could look at my experiences, especially if I had been stuck in a place where I just dropped out of school and I left it at that. I feel like someone could look at me and say, but Nishawa, you had so many opportunities to make it in life, but you were just careless. I feel like someone could think that. But for me, it's a situation of how can I help you to get out of that? Because I know I got out of it. How can I help you to get out of that? I know that you were not careless. I know that you were not negligent. You probably just didn't know any better. So I wanted to actually make this video to talk to people like that, to say, don't allow yourself to give up on yourself. Like, allow yourself to always have something to work towards. Always have something that you believe in, that you want to make possible for yourself, because that will keep you going. Even if you keep on making bad decisions, you will keep on going. Don't allow yourself to be in a position where you are so stuck that it's over. Like, it's over for you. Like, I always ask, and I know I'm very careful not to just ask everyone, because this question could come across in different minutes, could be received in different ways, right? But I do ask, where to from here? I always ask, where to from here? Like, what is the plan? Because I feel like for me, life is about living. It's about achieving. It's about finding that one thing that works for you, and it keeps you going, and it gives you reasons to wake up tomorrow. I know people that have given up on themselves so much that they are frustrated, they don't even know what to do. I have people that I talk to on my phone because they are saying, can you help? Like, what can we do from here? And I believe that is also because I went through it and I am able to handle that situation better. So I just wanted to encourage you also from this to say, have something to work towards. It will keep you positive, it'll keep you hopeful to know that this might just come true, and in that you continue just working towards it, and then you find yourself where you have always wanted yourself to be. There is so much grace, there's so much peace, there's so much happiness in knowing that you are where you have always wanted to be, or you are working towards where you have always wanted to be, and you know that eventually you will get there. It's so amazing to have that knowledge about yourself. It's so amazing to know that about yourself. And I know I just said one thing in different ways. I'm just caught now in the moment, but what I'm saying ultimately is that don't give up on yourself. Like, don't be in a position where you are stuck and you have made peace with it, because there is so much to life, there is so much to be achieved, there is so much potential in you. And it might not be academic, it might not be YouTube, it might not be social media, but there is potential in each and every one of us, and we need to unleash that. We need to establish that and see where that takes us. So from me to you, don't allow yourself to be stuck. Do not allow yourself to be stuck in one position. Just have something to work towards, have something that you have achieved and you are living in that will make your life so much better. And I hope with this video I have inspired you. I hope with this video I have touched your heart. I love you so much. And until the next video, I will see you then. Bye.